Namaste, beloveds. This is Baladev Das. I want to give a brief understanding from the holy books. The Srimad Bhagavatam, which I have brought up in some other videos, is the summum bonum, the complete and final expose by the great sage Srila Vyasadeva, who compiled the Vedas. 5,000 years ago, this illustrious and awakened, fully superconscious being, Srila Vyasadeva, who is known as a literary incarnation of God, wrote down the oral tradition of the Vedas in the Sanskrit language. This knowledge, this wisdom had been descended from the higher planes of existence, originally from the Supreme Absolute Truth. The Vedas have emanated. They are personalities, and yet they take the form now of books. But they are living, holy scripture. And this is not for one race of being. This is not for one religion. This is universal truth, and it is meant for all beings at all times. These are the blueprints for humanity, for the awakening of consciousness, for the budding and blossoming, full blossoming of the human potential. And we have a very great boon in that this Srimad Bhagavatam has been translated from its original Sanskrit text into languages throughout the world over the last several decades. And this commentary comes from a very pure source. There is a great tradition that the enlightened masters, be they men or women, of the ancient traditions of passing this knowledge through, have agreed that without any alteration, this divine wisdom should be passed through to the current day, and there are specific lines of what's called disciplic succession from one guru to the next in a living chain, by which this knowledge has come forth to us today. So Bhaktivedanta Swami has translated and given purports, commentary to these divine verses. I'm going to read just 2 or 3 verses that we're going to hopefully illustrate with some imagery through this video so it's more intriguing for everyone. And I'm going to keep this as short as possible so that we can just cover some a certain topic here. So, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana, which is another term for the Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is one of the Puranas, propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Being is established within the heart. Now that's a well-known verse. Let us take that and continue here. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the form, the Svarup, of the Supreme Being manifest by his internal potency. And this potency is distinguished from the external potency, which has manifested the cosmic world, which is within our experience. Srila Vyasadeva, this great sage who compiled this literature, makes a clear distinction between the two potencies in this shloka. So between the internal potency and the external potency of the Supreme Being. This is important philosophy to understand, that God is not a limited being, but unlimited, and therefore there are internal reasons for his creation and external expressions of his creation. Srila Vyasadeva says herein that the manifested internal potency is real, the internal potency of God, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there is no actual water. There is only the appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. The manifested cosmic creation appears as reality, but reality, of which this is but a shadow, is in the spiritual world. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not the material sky. In the material sky, everything is relative truth. That is to say, one truth depends on something else. The cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature: ignorance, passion, and goodness. And the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on, all the way to the lowest forms of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with his transcendental paraphernalia and associates. So, jumping from that into another verse in another great text, the Brahma Samhita, perhaps this will tie some things together. When Bhagavan, the Supreme Being, mixed together the individual essential realities, he manifested unlimited numbers of material universes. After that, he personally entered into his hidden abode, the innermost region of each universe. At that time, all the living entities woke up from the sleeping condition in which they had passed the duration of the cosmic dissolution. Now, this is a short commentary. Now, there is a description of Bhagavan's, the Godhead's third type of procedure. After combining the individual gross essential realities, Bhagavan accepted mystic slumber. In between the activity of amalgamating the essential realities and accepting mystic slumber, he entered his hidden abode, the body of the universal form. Then all the living entities who had been sleeping during the cosmic dissolution woke up. That is, they immediately became absorbed in enjoyment and activities in accordance with their past impressions. The term hidden abode assumes a variety of connotations. Hidden abode refers to the location of the indwelling witness, known as the Supersoul, or God within the heart of all living beings. So, let's recap what we have just studied here. We understand that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the pure transcendental literature descending from the spiritual reality to give guidance to humanity. And that in this text there are complete descriptions of the origins of creation and the importance of the